All right. Well, we're certainly excited to be here at SAS Global Forum 2020. I'm Stephen Yules. I am a Senior Director for Red Hat AI Center of Excellence. And what that means is I have responsibility for how we implement our AI strategy, what that strategy is, and how that impacts our overall internal use cases, how that impacts our products, how we work with our customers, and then how we collaborate with our partner ecosystem. And today I'm going to talk to you along with Vince Powers from our global partner organization. Vince is a solution architect. He's been working with our key strategic partners to build joint solutions using Red Hat products, and most notably, he's been working with SAS as they've been working to implement SAS Viya on top of OpenShift. And today we're going to talk to you about accelerating AI innovation. So first and foremost, I want to start with some of the key use cases that we end up seeing in the field when we talk with our customers. And that is that AI and ML-powered intelligent software apps are helping companies achieve their core business goals. And those business goals include increasing customer satisfaction, gaining competitive advantage, increasing overall revenue, and reducing operational costs. And in doing that, the use cases we're seeing across multiple industries all derive from basically the same grounding that they need access to data, they need a flexible and dynamic platform, and they need to be able to implement analytics on top of that platform. And companies say all phases of AI ML are demanding on the infrastructure. So it's everything from data management, data preparation, to AI model training and inferencing are putting demands throughout on their infrastructure, on their availability of information, and how they're able to react to changes in needs and requirements from their customers as well. And so why does all this matter? Well, at Red Hat, we're a platform company, and we need to make sure that the platforms we're putting in place are meeting the core requirements of our customers and our partners so that they can deliver value to their customers. And so from Red Hat's perspective, our strategy, we call it our 4 pillars and a foundation. And the first part of that pillar is basically we see AI ML as the most important workload that's going to be running on our platforms across the hybrid cloud. So that means that when you're thinking of things like RHEL, OpenShift, OpenStack, we want to make sure that all of the advanced analytics libraries are optimized to run on that platform. We want to make sure you can take advantage of any of the hardware optimizations or accelerators that are put in place. So we have an entire set of R&D and work put into making sure those things are all optimized so that when you put your workload on our platforms, you get an optimal experience. Second, Red Hat's a software company, and we're a company like any other company where we can basically take advantage of AI ML in our operations and how we productize, go to market with our products. And so we are applying this to our core business and improving our overall operational efficiency and all those core use cases I had mentioned. Third, it's how we implement AI ML in products and services that we offer to our customers. So these may be forward-looking things like our Red Hat Insights product, which is making recommendations to customers on a daily basis based on analysis of system data that we analyze from all the customers we're collecting it from. But it also will be in services that you may not know you're directly interacting with, like when you open a support ticket. We may try to provide a solution right out of the gate to, again, try to get you back up and running and answer your questions. The fourth pillar is then how do we enable customers to implement intelligent applications or applications with analytics embedded in them on top of our platform to provide value out to their customers and to their users. And this is a combination of things. This is bringing together Red Hat's platforms along with a lot of the core foundational elements that we offer in our middleware portfolio to handle things like streaming data, queuing, decision management, those core components in any application workflow. And then how we build around that with our partner ecosystem, with partners such as SAS, so that when customers want to build out a specialized application, they can have access to the tools that they want to have, that they desire and their users are demanding, and have the confidence that through our certification process, that application is going to run just as well as anything else on top of Red Hat platforms. And then finally, we have our data as a foundation. And this is existentially, a part of it is the fact that in order for any analytics to run, you have to have access to data. And so how are we enabling customers to become data-driven. How are they aggregating data, giving them the tools and the software in order to do that? And then, so we have our Ceph product where we have our S3 storage, and anyone who's been working with analytics has used object storage for that analysis. And Ceph has an S3 adapter. So conceptually, how does all this come together? Well, at the very top, we've got our typical project lifecycle. We've got our business goals, data engineers working on gathering, preparing data to make it ready for data science to develop those ML models. Next, the data scientists work with software developers to deploy those ML models into your application development process. And finally, our AI ML-powered intelligent applications are deployed, and the ML models start inferencing, making predictions based on new data that it sees. And you have to continuously monitor and manage those models in production to make sure they're doing the right predictions, they get retrained as needed, and they're always kept up to date. Well, in order to execute on this process, you need an ML software tool chain, something like TensorFlow, Jupyter Notebooks, Python, SAS, and data services, whether they're SQL, NoSQL, object storage. And you need all that to be supported on top of a self-service, hybrid, multi-cloud platform that empowers these data scientists, data engineers, and software developers to be agile and collaborative throughout that entire process. And we don't want them to have to depend too much on IT operations for individual tasks. And so the hybrid cloud platform there should have integrations with all those hardware accelerators I was talking about. GPUs is a great example to help speed up that model development and inferencing. And finally, the hybrid cloud platform should offer consistent experience across all clouds, as well as on-premise and edge locations. So what are the challenges then when it comes to executing these AI/ML suites? Well, everyone's experienced some of these, right? Our ROI is unclear, talent is in short supply, operations are siloed, it's hard getting data. If you do get data, it's hard making that set of access reproducible or the tasks reproducible. And then getting access to some of the specialized infrastructure is really, really difficult, right? Some of it's expensive, some of it's hard to find, and pulling it together in out of silos can be a real challenge. This is where Red Hat OpenShift and Kubernetes, based on Kubernetes basically, is an optimal fit for your analytic workloads, right? It offers the agility needed to respond to demands from your data scientists and your data engineers. It is portable, right? You can move these things. OpenShift gives you a single pane of glass across all of those different cloud footprints I mentioned. It's flexible, right? You can provision workloads and environments as you need them. They can scale up dynamically. You can reallocate resources based on where you have a greater need. And they are scalable. There's auto-scaling by default. You can write, you have the ability to influence that auto-scaling based on your own set of rules, based on your business, which will keep all of your applications up and running for a long term. All right, so why Red Hat in this case, right? Well, first and foremost, we have a proven track record, especially when it comes to open source, containers, and Kubernetes. We've been doing this for a really, really long time. A lot of the emerging technology when it comes to analytics is being done in open source, which again gives us just a natural fit there. Next, we've got a comprehensive portfolio. Earlier I touched on how we bring our products and platforms to bear on this, and then how we partner with partners like SAS out in the ecosystem to bring those tools and make them available to users. We have those powerful partnerships I've mentioned, and we're an active open source advocate, right? We're a leader and a trusted provider of open source in this space. All right, and I talked a little bit about those partnerships, and that's part of what we're focusing on here today. So we have a number of strategic partnerships out there, SAS being one of our core ones. In fact, if you watched our Red Hat Summit, you'll see that SAS was on stage with us giving a presentation during one of our keynotes as well. All right, so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Vince, and he's going to go a little bit deeper into what we're doing with SAS on OpenShift.
Thank you, Stephen. So as part of our, as Stephen showed, we have a very strong AI and ML vision and strategy, and how we know it's an important piece of the technology ecosystem going forward. So how does Kubernetes and Red Hat OpenShift actually fit into that model? we've built OpenShift as a platform that will host your containers and support any of your DevOps lifecycles for both traditional apps, newer cloud-native apps, and any AI and ML functionality you want to build. This is across from the edge to the data center into private, hybrid, and multi-cloud scenarios. We have more partners than just the AI system. As part of my role is to make sure we have a full ecosystem to provide consistency and to have access to the latest innovation across the environment, across the technology landscape. So that includes multiple languages, multiple partners like GitLab and GitHub to help with your code pipelines, and NVIDIA for GPU and accelerated. And we work with these partners so that across any cloud or any on-premise, from bare metal right through to pick your hypervisor of choice, it'll provide a consistent experience for administrators and developers to be able to deploy your AI and ML workloads. So when you're talking with SAS Viya specifically, it provides the functionality to plan and prepare your data, explore and visualize, build models, and manage your models in its own environment. But it needs that base to run consistently. And SAS's specialty is the actual models, managing models, making them work, and making your data valuable. And Red Hat's position is to work with SAS Viya to enable it so it can work on all the different clouds and environmental solutions to provide that consistent environment. So Viya can do what it specializes in, and Red Hat can do what it's best at, which is making that ecosystem work so Viya can thrive and help you bring your data to life. So exactly what is in OpenShift? OpenShift is the leading enterprise Kubernetes platform. It has full automation across the entire life cycle of your application. From the bottom, we work on, as you said, physical, virtual, and multiple types of clouds. Red Hat Enterprise Linux is a proven, trusted platform as the base for OpenShift. In the middle of the whole OpenShift platform is Kubernetes. It is the standard upstream version, and we certify with the latest versions to make sure that we provide that consistent experience and you get all the benefits from Kubernetes. Around that, we've wrapped automated operations, which help with seamless deployments, auto-scaling when you're on public clouds, and self-updating for the actual platform itself. And then in addition to the base operations, we provide service meshes, application services, and even development environments that can be used to assist you in your day-to-day life cycle with building and maintaining containerized platforms. And as I said, Red Hat Enterprise Linux is a proven, trusted platform where we have a very strong security ecosystem. We extended that into our OpenShift environment and provide API management capabilities, multiple storage partners, the ability to do multi-tenancy with network isolation, and then on top of that, within your CI/CD pipeline, there's container registries, both private one and access to private registries and public registries. There's role-based authentication wrapped around it, so we can provide that full trusted platform that you need to make sure your data is secure and being guarded from unwanted access. So, as part of the consistent container platform, we provide as I said, the automated operations, it's multi-tenancy. We enable security features by default, which provide a better out-of-the-box security than most major Kubernetes distributions. Then that has network traffic control with network policies, and we have the capabilities to do both monitoring and some chargeback as part of the base platform. So you install your solutions, and metrics are automatically available to be visualized through our console and exposed to any external monitoring system you're already using. So the life cycle for full from day 0 through day 2 operations. The install does infrastructure provisioning with our embedded core OS that is designed specifically to underpin OpenShift. It doesn't have any functionality that isn't required, which minimizes the attack footprint. When you deploy OpenShift, it gives you the ability to do the full stack deployment on premises with your bare metal, on your VMware environments, or even pick your public cloud. And it is the same experience across all environments, whether it's Amazon or Azure or Google Cloud or bare metal. The operations for administration and developers are the same. We work with security partners and certification agencies to make sure we meet the latest criteria for all of our security certifications that our enterprise customers demand. This is network isolation, everything's auditable, and we support signing and network policies. And then when you're actually operating and once you're running, we have advanced cluster manager and other solutions to allow to manage multiple clusters across multiple data centers from a single pane of glass, built-in monitoring alerting, and with our latest version, OpenShift 4, we provide over-the-air update capabilities, so you can update your cluster in real time without having to go offline and have scheduled maintenance windows. So that's part of the day 2 operations, which is where Red Hat's strongest with our OpenShift platform. In addition to that, we support a open source project that provides operators for Kubernetes. The operator framework is our contribution to that environment, where it provides an easy way to build the actual operator that runs in Kubernetes. So what an operator does is it allows you to codify a lot of the human tasks that are required to deploy an application, whether it's how to enable a cluster, whether it's provisioning storage automatically. All that gets wrapped into an operator, and the operator framework gives a framework around that. So when you start to build your containerized platform in-house, the operator will allow any user to deploy your solution on top of OpenShift without having to learn all the intricacies around storage and security and having it work uniformly across all environments. This allows for a truly seamless solution for your users. So all of the operators that our partners work with and build are available through Operator Hub inside the OpenShift console. And there's also a community site called operatorhub.io. These operators are just one or two click installs inside OpenShift, and from that point they'll provision, manage, and monitor the application they're responsible for. So there's multiple database vendors. There's over 100 available right now, including SAS Viya down the road. Will be available this way. So when you go to deploy, you just enable. You just install the operator, and Viya will be enabled to be deployed in your environment in a relatively self-serve manner. So as an administrator, you'll create an operator subscription, which makes it available in your environment through the web console interface or the command line if you choose. And then once it's enabled, any developer can go and enable that service for them to use. So for Viya, it would deploy a Viya instance for that developer to use in their own namespace with all the security and network policies required to have an isolated and secure environment for them to work in. And then once the developer is in and running, they have all the capabilities of the platform available to them, whether from as shown in self-service provisioning, the consistency across multiple clouds, the ability to use multiple languages, and to be able to connect to any existing CI/CD pipelines in your organization. And OpenShift even has some capabilities to do those without having an external CI/CD pipeline. And then again, everything's audited, logged, and monitored, and available out of the box to make your life easier and to provide value to get up and running quickly as you build your AI/ML pipelines in your organization. So Thank you for your time. And if you have any questions or information, just reach out to us, and we'll respond to them again. Thank you.